This lecture of functions in our third unit. Myself P. Shilpa Chaitanya, working as assistant professor in the Department of Computer Science and Engineering from Vignan Sneerula Institute of Technology and Science for Women. So let us see what is a function. What is a function, students? What is a function? Function is nothing but we take an input from a keyboard and we perform some computations and that will generate an output. This is a general process that any program will does. So in the similar way, to write the same code repeatedly in your program, we are using a function and we reuse this function wherever we need in our code. Is that clear, students? Let us see this with the following examples. Done. If you see this example, here the function is the same, but you are using this function to various inputs. So if you take the first input, it will perform the same function. In the same way, if you take the second input, it will perform the same function. So what the function does, the function's duty is to take the input and to process and to get the output. Okay, usually a program's duty is to take the input from the computer, process from computations and gives you the output. When we are using functions, what happens is we are using the same code in our program wherever we need. Okay, so what will happen if you give the input to the function will take the input and perform whatever the calculations that are written in this function and gives you the output. So what is the necessity of creating a function? So we generally write a function for reusability of the code. Okay, to write the same code repeatedly in your program, we are using a function. So if you write the code once in the function, whenever we need this piece of code in your program, we use this piece of code whenever it is necessary. So what is a function? Function is a block of code which is reusable in your program. Is that clear? Next. So let us see how the function look like. Here in this example, if you have seen, there is a function called hello. So the hello is defined with the two printf statements. One is print the hello string, that is hello. The second one is the hello string, that is fun. Okay, so here you have defined a function called hello. And how you are using this hello function in your program? You are calling the hello function here. Then you are printing some of your statements of your program and again you are calling the same hello function. So we call these reusable pieces of code called as functions. So what is the output of this program? It is defined as, first the function will be defined with two printf statements, that is hello and fun. Then what will be printed? You are calling the function hello. When you call the function hello, what will be printed? In the hello, there are two printf statements. So what is the output we get? We get the output as hello. Then coming to the next printf statement, what is there in it? Fun. Then it will come to the original program. In the original program, we are having the next printf statement, that is j. Then what is printed? Again the hello function will be called and the two statements in the hello function will be printed. So in this way you store the function and you will reuse your function whenever it is necessary to use your function. Is that clear? Yes. Let us see with a programming example now. If you see this example, here in the program we define a function called things. So in this function things, we have printed two statements. The first statement is hello and the second statement is fun. Okay. Then you are calling the function called hello. Okay, when you call this function, what will happen? It will print the values that are there in the function. So what the output that will be printed here? The output that will be printed here is hello and fun. Clear? Then it will come back to the program and it will print the statement that is here, that is zip. Then again it will call the function that is there. That function is thing. Again the thing function will have the two statement, that is hello and fun will be printed. So in this way, in a program you will reuse your function code. Okay, let us see with another example. Let us see this with a small example. So let us define a function, that is define even odd function. Okay, so here in this function I am supplying an input as a one parameter, that is a. I am supplying a parameter a. Then what we have to do? We have to check whether the given number that is given by the function is an even number or it is an odd number. Have you checked this? We will check this with this. If a modulo division by 2 is equal to 0, what will happen? Just print even number. Just print even number. Okay, if it is else it is an odd number, so print odd number. Okay, so this is the function which we have defined now. Okay, how to call this function? We have to call this function by using even odd, that is your program, your function name with the value supplied as input. I have given 2. What will happen here? Then again I will call the even odd function with the value input, that is 1. Then what will happen? We will define a function here. Then the program will execute from here. What will happen? It will take the even odd function with input 2. It will move to the function. Okay, so in this function it will check the a value. The a value is 2. So 2 modulo division by 2 is equal to 0. As it is true. As it is true. So it will print the value that is there here, that is even number. Is that clear? Then it will come back and it will print it. Here it is already printed. Then the next statement will be executed. Again the control will go to the function, that is even odd. Now a is assigned with the value 1. It will check 1 modulo division by 2 is equal to 0. No, it is not true. It is not equal to 0, as you all know. So what will be printed? It will come to the else part and it will print it is odd number. So odd number will be printed. So in this way the function will use your code, will reuse your code whenever it is necessary. So if you are having 100 lines of code, in the 100 lines of code also it will use the same function whenever it is needed. Is that clear? Let us move on to the definition and what are the arguments, what is this, what is this, what is the syntax of function. Let's see it now. Okay, what are the types of functions we have? We generally have 2 types of function. The first function is built-in function. Built-in function. And the second function is user-defined function. So what is the built-in function? What are the built-in functions that we have seen till now in our Python subject? Yes, in our Python subject we have seen so many built-in functions. The one of the most important built-in function that we have used until now is your input function. And when converting one type to another type, we have used the input we have used the int function also. We have used the float function. We have used the math function. In the math module, randint function. So there are so many built-in functions that are available in the Python programming. We can readily use that functions in your program. Clear? Then coming to the user-defined functions. What are user-defined functions? Let us now only we have explained an example, that is even odd program. So in that you created your own function and you are reusing your own function. Is that clear? So that user-defined function is nothing but creating your own function by yourself. You call that type of functional as user-defined functions. When you are using built-in functions, these function names are reserved keywords. So these reserved keywords may not be used as variables, or they are not at all used as your file names. Okay, so all the built-in functions are reserved keywords. You call them as new reserved keywords. Shouldn't use them as your user defined function names or your variable names or your file names. Is that clear? Let us define a function. So what is a function? A function is some reusable code that takes the arguments as input and performs some calculations and returns the result. So what it takes? It will take input as arguments and it will perform some computations and it will gives you the result. Okay, so how you define a function? You define a function by using the keyword called def. Okay, this def is the keyword which is used to define any function in Python programming. So in this define function, after that you have to give you the function name. You have to give you the function name. That is your user defined function name. Whatever the name you want to give, you can give that name. So this is supplied with the arguments. Okay, so these are the arguments which you will give. Then you have to write the body of the function. How will you write the body of function? Every function is also start with a colon. If you start the function with a colon, you have to indent your function. So indentation will takes place. Clear? So we call and invoke the function by using the function name, parenthesis and arguments in that expression. How will you call this function? You call this function like this: function name with the supplied arguments which are given as input. So these are the arguments. These arguments will be passed to the function as parameters. So what is a function? Function is some reusable code which takes the input as arguments and performs some computation which gives you the result. To design a function, we use def. Def as a keyword which is followed by the function name and with a parenthesis. Inside the parenthesis, you have to supply the parameters to use in your function. And it will start with a colon and which is having an indentation and write the block of statements. Is that clear? Yes. Let us see this example. Here we have taken a function called max. This max function acts like a built-in function. Okay, so this function is already defined in the Python package. It will calculate the maximum value of the argument which you are supplied. Okay, so here this max function is assigned to big variable. What happens, students? It will take the number of arguments that are there, that is hello world. In that number of arguments, it will check which character or which character is having the maximum value. As you have seen, which character will have the maximum value? Yes, W will have the maximum value. So this particular built-in function will give you the result W. Okay, and this W will be assigned to the variable that is there, that is big. If you print that variable, obviously the W value will be printed. So in this way the built-in functions will be used. So in the previous slide we have seen, we have taken the value that is hello world, it is a string. That string is taken into that is passed to the max function. Here in the max function, the code is already written. Okay, so who wrote this code? The Gudu Vanrusun wrote this code. Okay, so because the max function is a predefined function, that is a built-in function. So what the max function does will be already defined in this code. Okay, so that will generate a written value, or that will generate an output that is printed in the output section, that is double. So this is what happens in the whole program when we use built-in functions. When we are using the built-in functions, the type conversion, to type convert the values, we generally use the built-in functions. Okay, when you put an integer and floating value in an expression, what will happen? It implicitly take the float value, because float value having high precedence. Okay, so to overcome this situation, we generally use the type conversion. So how type conversion works? If you want to, if you take a value a is equal to 4, so it is an integer value. Suppose you need to convert this value to a string. How will you convert this value to a string? String of a. Okay, or else if you want to convert this value to a float of a, means here this float, string are acting like an inbuilt functions. Clear? Yes. So let us see this example. If you see this example, we have to print float of 99 by 100. What is the output we get generally? 99 by 100. We generally get the float value, isn't it? So to convert the value to the float, here you are using float of 99. So we get the float of 99 value is 99.0 divided by 100. Okay, we'll get 0.99. If you convert the same thing to an integer, what will happen? If you convert the same thing to an integer, we'll get 0. Isn't it? So in this way, you convert the values to that. We will type convert the values whatever we necessary. Okay. Here in this, let us take the value that is I is equal to 42. Means 42 is an integer value which is assigned to I. If you print the type of I, what will be it printed? Yes, it is of type int. So it will print type. What type of value it is? It is an integer type of value. If you assign some f to that integer value, now I becomes a float value. 42 becomes a float value. If you print f, what will be printed? 42.0 will be printed, because the integer value float here is converted into the integer value here, that is 42, is converted into the float value, that is 42.0. Okay, if you check what the float value is, type of f, yes, type of f is the type, or it is of float. Clear, students? Then talking about the expression, while we are doing the expressions, so here we have an expression that is 1 plus 2 star float of 3 slash 4 minus 5. What it is printed? Let us take as. So let us solve this example. 1 plus 2 star float of 3 by 4 minus 5. If you take this example, first what happens? First, it will having the higher precedence as star and a division. Which will have the higher precedence? Usually the division is having the higher precedence. So what is the value of 3 by 4? Students? So, okay. So if you calculate 2 star 0.75, 1.5 we will get. So next you have to add 1 to it and subtract 5 to it. So we get 2.5 minus 5. So what is the output we get? Minus 2.5. So in this way the expressions will be solved when we use the inbuilt functions in between the expressions. Clear? Next, talking about string conversions. We can convert an integer value or a float value to the string and integers. Okay, but it is not possible to convert a string data to a character. If you are having numbers in the string data, then it is easily converted. Like if you have a is equal to some 45. So means you can convert this character to an integer value. So int of a, yes, it is possible. But if a is equal to Shilpa, you are trying to convert this value to an string, value to an integer, it is not possible. You will get an error if the string doesn't contain a numeric characters. If the string contains the numeric characters only, the inbuilt function integer will work. If string doesn't contain the numeric values, then it will not work. Okay? Let us see this with an example. So here we have taken a value, that is S value, which is assigned to 123. So what type of value it is? It is a numeric value, but it is assigned to string. So it is printed as type str. Okay, so if you try to add a number to that value, it is an error, because of course it is having an integer values that is assigned as string, but it is act like a string itself. You are not at all converting it to a integer. If you see in this, the next example, I value is converted. So the S value is converted to the integer and you have placed that one in I value. If you do that one, then you can easily add the value to that. So the initial number is 123. It is not possible if you are not converted that number to an integer value. But when you convert that one to an integer value, it is very easy to add the value. Clear? Yes. And I have told you, we cannot convert a string value to an integer. Yes. Here it is, the string value is hello Bob. This hello Bob is never ever converted to an integer because it is a string. It doesn't contain any numeric value. If it contains a numeric value, then it can be converted. Yes, let us see the next one. Yes, so how to build your own function. So I have already told you, we can build our own function by using the keyword def. Isn't it? So we create a new function using def keyword, which is followed by an optional parameters, that is in parenthesis. So we will have a function name with the optional parameters, those are called parameters. Okay, so and you have to indent the block of function. We have to indent the block of function. This defines the function but doesn't execute the body of the function. Okay, def function will define the function. It will not execute. If you want to execute the function, you have to invoke the function in your program. Is that clear? Okay. So if you see this example, in this example we have taken a value, that is x is equal to 5, then print hello. Then you have created a user defined function by using def statement, def keyword. So what is the name of the user defined function that we have used here? That is pri. Okay, so in this user defined function we have printed the name. My name is Jaydev and I am 8 years old. Then the program is continued. In the program we have taken another printf statement, that is yo, and we have called the function. Then it will come to the function again and it will print and it will execute x equal to x plus 2 and it will print the x. Let us do this logic once again. So let us take what is the output of this function. First, initially it will search for the x value as x is equal to 5. Then it will take the printf statement. So what is the output that we have printed? That is hello. Okay, so after that it will come to the next printf statement, that is print yo. So it will print yo. Then it will call the function, that is pri. So in this pri, what are the two statements that are there? The first statement is my name is Jaydev. So it is printed, it is executed. So my name is Jaydev. The control comes to the function and it will print the block of statements that are there in the function. Okay, so then the next statement, that is I am 8 years old. Clear? Then it come back to the original function and it will execute x is equal to x plus 5. So the x plus x is equal to 5. So what will be calculated? The x is incremented by 2. So what is the value that is printed here? It will print as 7. So in this way the user defined functions will work. So once you define your own function, what you have to do? You have to call the function, you have to invoke your function, and you can store that function and you can reuse that function. Okay, this is the use of function. Then here in this we'll talk about what are arguments, what are parameters. So what is an argument? Argument is the value we pass into the function as input when we call the function. Okay, so we put arguments in parentheses after your function name. So let us take an example that we have created earlier, our function, that is even OR function. So df even OR with a parameters that we have taken. So with a parameter that we have taken, a single parameter. Yes, here you are checking the value. So this is the body of function. That blah blah blah. What are the functions? So how you invoke this function? You invoke this function by even odd of the parameter. So here you will give the value, that is sum 4. If you give sum 4, so you call this as arguments. You call this functions as arguments. So this is the function which you are invoking. Then it will move to the function where you will have the parameter. So you will pass this argument as parameter to the invoked function. So you call this one as parameter. Is that clear? Here, what is a parameter? Parameter is a variable which you use in the function definition. We use this in the function definition. We call the arguments. We call the arguments when the function is invoked. Is that clear? So to access the arguments, we use the parameters here. Clear? So if you see this example, here we have taken a function called greet. So in this greet, what is the lang? What is this lang here? You call this one as parameter. So to this parameter I am supplying the argument. So here in this, if you see here, greet E means E is the parameter, which he is the argument which is passed to lang. So if lang is equal to E, what will happen? It will print the corresponding block of statement. So it is not equal to E, because in if we have given A, in else if we have given B. So it will print hello. In the same way for the next one, greet A means A is there in the if loop, so it will print hello. Next, if greet B means in the else part it is satisfied, so it will print welcome. So my thing is to tell you that what is a parameter and what is the argument. What is the difference here? Next, talking about non-fruitful functions, that are void functions. Okay, so the function which doesn't return any value, you call that type of functions as non-fruitful functions. The fruitful functions will return a value, whereas non-fruitful functions does not return any value. Then talking about recursive function. Recursive function is nothing but which calls itself. Means we can call a function any number of times by itself. We are not at all writing any code for that. By using the recursion, we will use to generate the code in how many times we need. So the function which calls itself is called as a recursive function. Then, so let us see with an example. Yes. Let us see with an example. As you know very well, the example is the Fibonacci series. When you want to generate a Fibonacci number, nth Fibonacci number, what will you generally do? We generally check from the first iteration to the up to that iteration where we get. Okay, so see here we have created a function fib of n which returns the nth Fibonacci number. Okay, if you see here, if n is less than 3, return 1. Means, so usually the Fibonacci series starts from 0, 1, 1, isn't it? So if it is n value is 3, it will return 1. Other than 3, what we have to do? You have to again calculate the values, again retrieve the values from the syntax. So how will you retrieving that one? Feb of n minus 1 plus feb of n minus 2. Okay, how you are calculating this one? Let us see. Suppose the n value is 4. Suppose let us take the n value is 4. So n is less than 3? No, it is greater than 3. So you have to go for this return statement. Now feb of what is n? 4 minus 1 plus feb of 4 minus 2. So what is this? Feb of 3 plus feb of 2. Okay. So what is feb of 3? Again you are calling the same function. Here feb of 3 minus 1 plus feb of 3 minus 2 plus. So usually feb of 3, what is feb of 3? In if loop I have given 1. So what is the output of this? This is 1. 1 plus, what is feb of 2? It is also less than 3. So we will get here 1. So here it is 2. So 1 plus 1. So you will get 3. So what is the fourth Fibonacci number that we have? That is 4. That is 3. So 0, that is with 0 index. 1, 2, 3. What is the fourth Fibonacci number? 2 plus 1, that is 4. So in this way we will recursively use the recursion functions. Next. Have a quick So let us have a quick recap of what we have discussed today. We have seen how to define a function, and we have seen how what are the types of functions we have. We have two types of functions, that is built-in functions and user-defined functions, and we have seen how to define a function actually. What are the built-in functions that are available? We can use them through a type conversions and math functions, like converting a string, like that we are using all the built-in functions, and we have seen what is an argument and what is a parameter, how they are used. And also we have seen that the fruitful function. What is a fruitful function? What is a not a fruitful function? A void functions are called as not fruitful functions. And also we have seen the recursion. So in our next class we will see in depth of recursive functions, how they are working. Okay. So thank you. Thank you so much for listening. Let us move on to the next topic in the next video. So that is examples related to your recursive function. Thank you.